Hello and welcome to our Semester 2 Open Forum. My name is George and I'm your Vice President Activities and Commercial.
My name is Sal Fox, I'm your Vice President Education and Welfare.
And I'm Alex Wilson and I'm your Students' Union President. Our Open Forum is intended to update our members, that's you, our students at the University of Winchester, on our progress as your elected officers. They're also a chance for you to provide us with feedback and ask about our work.
We're doing this Open Forum a little differently to usual. Across the past month we've been gathering questions from students, both online, in person, and today we'll be responding to them. We're doing a pre-recorded video now, but we'll also be going live alongside our posts, so you can ask any further questions you may have.
We know that you, our students, engage with our content in lots of different ways, so with this new approach we're hoping to increase the number of opportunities for you to find out about what we do and to come and speak to us.
So to sort of start us off, we're going to talk a little bit about between us about our jobs for the year, and a couple of questions for each other. So Sal, you can start.
I've got a question for both of you. So firstly, congratulations on both being re-elected for next year. Have you got any work that you would have hoped to have done this year that you're looking to maybe carry over or to have a bigger impact on next year?
I think a lot of mine is to do with how much the impact that we saw through elections about equality, diversity and inclusion in particular. I think there's a lot of work, particularly with collaboration on the university, the sustainability of how we celebrate a diverse range of students. So it's been enhancing One Winchester, but also implementing a forum which incorporates a wide range of students who actually identify with those demographics, so make sure that they feel represented.
Nice. Oh gosh, I feel like there's loads of things in terms of both the activity side of the job and the commercial side of the job. If I'm going from the commercial side, I'd say more so nighttime safety, Sip Smart Stay Safe and Look After Your Mates are all very important initiatives that we do have, which there's lots going on behind the scenes in terms of that at the moment. So that's all very exciting things for semester 2. There's lots for semester 2 actually. I find with the first term of being a SAB, it's very much like you are playing catch up, you're learning so much and you're representing so many student voices and making actions and putting everything in development. So I think just all the things we're working on now to go towards the second year, just all the things in the works, like women in extracurriculars.
I think my main question for you, Sal, is what's your recommendations to the future executive committee on one, how we work, and also what you'd like to see as a departing SAB?
I'd say, particularly when it comes to student voice, have those mechanisms that are in place, have those systems for when feedback does come in, and how you apply it, who you go to in terms of the different areas, have that going. But then feel free to have a play around with it. If you do something and you follow the book and you realise that it doesn't really work, or doesn't work for how you work as an individual, have a play around with it. There's so much creativity you can have with this role, and within this role of leadership, and just being able to take so much accountability for yourself and the actions and decisions that you have. It's nice just to be able to get creative, and if you feel that something doesn't work, you're in a capacity to change it, which is quite rare I think at this level to be having at our age and where we are at life, which is quite nice to have. So yeah, just get creative, work out what works, and yeah.
So for both of you, I was just going to ask, what has been your favourite thing this year? What do you feel you've accomplished, or what's just been your favourite little memory, or?
I'd say I've definitely stepped up in terms of my connection with the university, being able to stand up in university meetings and holding the university to account and pushing my own voice forward, presenting a bit more in meetings, and that overall confidence as well. I think that's also developed into the wider SAB role. I've also just been asked to be a presenter on a panel at a Student Voice conference, which I'm quite excited about. So I think it's really my confidence has grown a lot more this year as well, and just having had those relationships the past year and now being able to apply that.
Yourself?
Not sounding too soppy. I think it's just been also seeing the growth within myself, and also my connection working with students. I think coming into this job I was very nervous, I'd say, and also I think a lot of this has been pushing myself out my comfort zone, particularly again with EDI, and that's what I'm going to be talking about, I guess, in trying to push the boundaries about making sure that all students feel like they have a voice here at Winchester, and also I guess challenging the university was a very difficult topic, so hopefully we'll see a lot more progress in the year ahead. But yeah, I think in general it's just been how I've grown as a person.
Yeah.
I think it would only be fitting as well if you shared yours though.
Oh God, well, I don't know. You both have had the pleasure of working with me, so I can imagine that's actually quite a big highlight as it is. No, I think coming from being a student for 4 years and being heavily involved in activity groups in my time as an undergrad and a postgrad, God, marching on, it's been really nice to see activities from like a different perspective. Like I'm so passionate about extracurricular activity at university because it's what made my experience. So to see how passionate everyone is in their society, their representational network, their sports team, and how much it really has made them into the people they are, and making friends for life and all these experiences has definitely been just so like otherworldly to see. Like every single person that takes part in extracurricular or just goes to university or comes to our the nights or day things that we host, like it's just so lovely to see that student interaction and students feel like they belong and have that safe space. So
I do have one more question for both of you. If there was one thing you could have told yourself on the first day of your job, what would that be? It's one thing that you could look back on your day one, week one, self, what would it be? Some advice, just anything.
Not expecting to accomplish everything straight away. I think I came with some really big ideas, and luckily I've been re-elected. I think the point is you're not going to learn everything straight away, and it's a massive learning curve. And I think obviously I thought I was going to come in, like everything would be put in place, and like make a load of changes, but it's alright to kind of like take your time with things. So we're kind of making that progress more gradually. So yeah, we've got some campaigns in from the start, like independent living, which is something really great to work with over the summer. But I think what I'm planning for now will probably have a bigger impact compared to what I'm implemented in September, but that's okay.
I think there's so much behind the manifesto you write in like these elections, like March, that you then start applying in June, July, and it's so much of that just kind of changes in the year. Like there's kind of the work behind it.
yeah, I think for me, like you're not going to change the world, you're not going to reinvent the wheel, but if you can make one student's experience better, then I think you've accomplished the job. And I think it's so easy to put so much pressure on yourself, and because we do so many amazing things as a student union, and everything's for the students, and obviously we represent our student voice, so just be present and listen. And again, you're not going to change the world, but you can change a student's experience, and I think it's priceless.
I think it's also learning as well that our voices are appreciated when they want to be.
Yeah.
So it's quite nice to know that like, our voices are valued around the table, and that we do have the impact to make change. And hopefully we'll see more of that as we go into the year.
And that we're all so passionate. Like, you've done this for 2 years, we're about to do this for 2 years. Like, we do really care. And I think there's just something so special in that.
It's interesting to see as well, like the 2-year club is becoming more common within South as well.
Very
Like,
much so.
Especially at Winchester, you don't really see it at a lot of other places. So I think it's nice kind of here, like being able to make that impact. Yeah.
Did you guys want to move on to some Jenga?
So as you can see, we have our Jenga tower in front of us. We're now going to play a very competitive game, and we're going to answer some of your questions.
We pulled these questions together from Speak Week, satisfaction surveys, and our other efforts from across the past semester, and have assigned them randomly to our Jenga tower. We're going to each take a question, take it turns to pull a block and answer the question, and we'll see how far we get.
Oh, getting old. I want to sabotage.
Sabotage.
What?
Number 8, please.
What rubbish.
Drop zone 2, please, Ben.
It's a
Someone's not watched Tipping Point.
tipping point reference.
No, I don't. So I don't feel that some of the union services are advertised very well, and people don't hear about them. What are you planning to do to help this?
That's a very good question. As you may know, as a student, we do have our website, we have Instagram, we have YouTube, we have a plethora of different platforms for people to get information from. If that is the case, you can come speak to us in our offices in King Alfred Quarter, which we are now, just the floor above this. We don't have pretty pink lights in our office, unfortunately. We do have lots of booklets and leaflets that you can get from outside our offices. You can always reach out onto our our Winch Officers account, Winch SU Instagram. I know I've said a lot about Instagram, but if you have ways which communication is better for you, we can obviously do that in person or online, and that's currently what we offer. Oh, Sal's pulling.
She's going. Oh, not touch.
You
You
can't
absolute cheater.
25.
Oh, that was easy, wasn't it? So, freshers and joining activity groups can be really difficult, especially if you feel anxious about meeting new people. Can you say anything about how this will support students next year?
So I would say, because I was in kind of the same position, I guess, as a student when I started, I did 2 activity groups when I was a student, and yes, it is, you know, that is like that tiny bit of like kind of nerves, kind of walking into the room, kind of presenting yourself, but then again, a lot of people are going to be in the same boat as you, kind of, you know, you come in Freshers Week, and it's all about, you know, getting to know as many people as you like, you know, you're also probably meeting like housemates, course mates, so everyone's kind of aware that it is a very overwhelming time. We do look to kind of provide, you know, support if you are maybe struggling with this kind of new introduction. So during Freshers Fair, we had a quiet room, which was really nice. If you're kind of overwhelmed, you can just kind of go there and just take 5 minutes, and then maybe get yourself back out there, kind of talking to activity groups. So it's just a nice way just to kind of unwind. We had like fidget toys and calming music and bean bags in that space. I'd say more broadly, we have got our advice centre as well. So if you ever wanted to speak to our lovely advisor Amy about anything you might be experiencing, she can signpost you to the right person to kind of chat to you maybe if you're feeling anxious about anything. But yes, everyone is in the same boat, but just enjoy it and get as much out of it as you like.
Yeah, I think no matter if you're first year, second year,
Yeah.
third year, or master's student, or mature student, or whatever your background, like, there is always a place for you, and just put yourself out there. Everyone's been in the same boat, everyone is in the same boat, and it's an incredible opportunity. So just put yourself out there, because this is an amazing time to do it.
I think I started in a brand new activity group, like a sport I'd never played before, like towards the end of second year, and in third year I was the social sec, so you can really kind of see, like, you know, growth and from there. Yeah.
So, who the sporty child is?
Why did you?
I don't know, it just dropped. Number 20. I've got my glasses on, I still can see
Do
it.
you want to pop it back
Should
on
have put
top?
that on.
No, I don't.
Oh,
My hands are actually shaking.
Just hold
they
the
will
whole
be
time
after
on the
this
side.
question. So, Alex, our lovely president, how can we get some differently themed bobs? For example, 90s, R&B, Under the Sea, etc. This could be really great.
So, funny enough, 90s Pop was actually something that came through our student voice platform, which is called Suggestions, SUgestions, whatever you want to call it. And this can basically be found on our Student Union website, and there's an opportunity for you to give as many ideas as you like, essentially. So yeah, 90s Pop was just one of them, but you can put it on there, or you can we've got a very open commercial team, and we're working to kind of improve and widen our kind of commercial outlet. So obviously, George is your Vice President Activities and Commercial, so if you've got an idea, why don't you email him or our commercial team or pop it all suggestions. That was too easy.
What number is it?
15.
15.
Whoa.
I've seen a lot more attention this year on organising a more diverse range of events. What plans have you got to continue this and create even more variety?
Not to steal my lovely Alex Wilson president answer here.
Let's see suggestions.
Yeah,
Helpful
it's just
something.
suggestions. It's a great way. Emails. Do it. Fill out proposal forms.
I think it might just be worth highlighting that we've got stuff like Vinyl this year, which is an indie night, which is very different to what we had last year, and also the alternative night, bringing that back was also through our suggestions platform, which has been something that's in the works but very successful. Like we've had a number of them this year, so we are open and having loads.
Get stuck in. Okay.
What's going to be said on that?
Let's get a juicy question.
Yeah.
Number 5.
It's a lot of events basically. The prices of events and activity group memberships can be a huge barrier to taking part. What can be done to reduce costs for students?
So I guess we do recognise kind of ongoing cost of living crisis. You know, we do have lots of kind of initiatives. Participation fund. Would you want to
Yes.
touch on that? Yeah.
So we have a lovely participation fund which you can apply for to help with participation essentially. So no matter your background or if you get bursary or if you come from a low income household, there are a lot of options that you can choose for, and then you just put in what activity group you're part of and why you would like this fund, how it can help you, and then a board sit and just allocate money to yourself. This is something that is happening next year as well. It's been very successful in previous years. I was someone who had claimed for the participation fund when I was a student, so I know how much it can benefit and how much it really opens up that door for you. So that's just one of many things that we have in place, for example, to help you as a student.
We've got lots of hints and tips on budgeting on our website as well, and also that's one of our areas that the Advice Centre oversees as well, so you can speak to again our advisor if you need any budgeting tips. But in terms of, I guess, like the cost of, you know, the venue, we do understand that, you know, prices do go up because, you know, kind of the climate that we're in at the moment. But yeah, if you did need any kind of like support or kind of guidance on that, we are here to help as much as we can.
There's like a nice fine line between like how we run the venue, also recognising that we are not for profit.
Yes.
So all the money that comes into us goes back out to your student experience. Essentially, all the money you spend for us goes back out to better experience essentially. So that might be to an activity group or more events or an improved advice centre. So oh,
President.
I'm just so nervous. I don't like it. Or I do like it. That's really negative. Sorry. I'm not.
Me. Oh.
Literally, I am trembling.
Shut up about it.
Shock. What number?
11, please.
What do you consider to be the most pressing need in terms of the student experience right now? And what plans do you have related to it?
I think it's more enhancement on student voice, being a bit more of an impact. Like, we all say that we're all for the students and we care about student voice, but how often is what we go out and seek feedback for actually implemented into one policy and procedure or like student experience? But I think there's really good examples of where that is, and for instance like student experience collaborators, but it'd be really nice to have that like trust with students, particularly our members, that what we do and what they say to us is actually acted upon. So at this point in time, I think there's a bit more work that can be done on student voice and actually ensuring that things are being put in place because the student has said so.
Big money. But this is going fast, isn't it?
Fast. Speed
Fast.
If you knock it down, probably my favourite day.
Whoa. Sabotage internally. I think there's 2 Z's, so I'm gonna go with 22.
22. How do you plan, George, to make campus life more inclusive for mature commuting and part-time students?
Well, Sam, we have our incredible representational networks that covers a wide range of different backgrounds and different belongings, and you name it, we have them. So these are all student-led, they all have their own committees, and we support them as much as we possibly can, and we have lots of interaction with them in terms of when we celebrate holidays. Talking about celebrating these holidays, we have our amazing Alex, who covers equality, diversity and inclusivity. Would you like to talk a bit more about that?
Yeah, so I think we've touched on it a little bit earlier about like kind of how One Manchester aims to represent like all of our wide range of diverse students essentially. So the like the inclusivity and holidays that kind of like dips into like EDI in some aspect, and I think there's a really good opportunity for us to touch point with the university about a bit more responsibility about how we improve their experiences and make sure that we're representing them accurately. There we go. But the kind of like commuting part-time and mature, sometimes it's really hard to kind of get those touch points with them, so it's about how we can make it more accessible to them to kind of give their feedback and have those kind of conversations with them, like making time to get in a room, which maybe we've dropped off a little bit with this year. So kind of the aims for next year is how we can have more forums which are based on our networks and how we can support them. But I know the activities do so much with them already.
Have fun with that picture.
Thank you. Well, so I was just taking out
24.
got lots of 20s.
Okay. Spicy.
Oh, this is, the Freebie Bin is a fantastic resource. Thank you so much for providing it. What scope is there for period products to be available in all toilets as a standard across the university?
So we have just begun to kind of grow the use of the freebie bin, so we've now got the miniature freebie bin up at West Down. So if you're up at West Down at all and you needed to grab a free period product, you can grab them from there. We have looked at kind of the way that other students' unions period products in their toilets. Their institutions have got different ways of kind of, you know, making sure that, you know, especially if they're available for maybe like a night out, like available in our venue, kind of how we're kind of monitoring the kind of stock and, you know, making sure that they've, you know, been taken and being used and left for those who, you know, kind of need them in the most appropriate way. But yeah, I think it's just a kind of about seeing what other student unions do and kind of bouncing off their work. We've managed to this year, we've used quite a bit of our budget in terms of from the advice centre in making sure that the freebie bin is kind of stocked a bit more, and we've pushed out a lot more in terms of like through the course talks, through faculty welcome talks as well, kind of telling the students more about it as well. So it's a bit tricky because where we don't actually own this building, so we actually lease this building, it's kind of the use of the toilets and the space and the kind of ownership of them as ours. Yes, so definitely some work to kind of maybe for me to hand over, or but yeah, just check in for the end of the year.
Temptations, just as you can see. I don't think you should be so focused on the number, just what you can actually get out.
I feel really unwell. Oh no.
Oh, that's one.
Boring.
I don't think I've actually already done this one, but 6.
6.
Again, she did put it back.
Six.
She wants to keep holding it.
It's my prized
Take one home
possession.
with you when we finish, don't
Yeah.
worry.
I've loved the different freebie bins that you guys have had out this year,
Okay.
so thank you guys. The fidget one was great. Is there any chance of having more freebie bins available, even some extra sexual ones?
I think this was actually one of my manifesto points, was actually to have freebie bins more accessible around campus, particularly to do with fidget toys. Obviously, that's not happened yet. I think it's about resource and obviously in terms of like funding at the moment, at least with the freebie bins that we have at West Downs and on at level 3, they're a bit more centralised, so we know when to restock them and stuff along that line. But I think that's almost something that we can feed back to the university and within committees about them being more widely available, especially as well with the previous question as well. So I don't see why not. No others. As if. I hope this is a question I've already answered.
Number 3.
Having someone to talk to is really helpful when you're struggling, but the availability of services on campus makes accessing someone difficult. What will/can the union do to help with this?
Well, as a student union, we have our amazing advice centre, which covers a plethora of different things, whether that be money, whether that be well-being, you name it. Our lovely advisor, Amy, is available via email, and there's so many ways to get in contact. But as the welfare,
I think
what would you like to?
when we make one thing I'm working on at the moment is the Disabled Students Guide. When we do make our guides and our kind of resources, we're definitely keen to kind of check in with the university at multiple points and kind of making resources, making sure that their resources are up to date, what they're saying to students is true, accurate, and so accessible. We've heard previously that I know that appointments have been tricky to kind of get hold of, so we do a lot of work in kind of like collaboration. So we have meetings with the university student support and success team, kind of making sure that what we're saying to students is obviously correct, and that work is still ongoing. Being difficult to kind of access someone, I guess there's more there to be done in terms of like the way that appointments are kind of accessed. I could probably do with kind of like having a look on the students' support and success website and how all those kind of appointments are kind of bookable. I can look into that. If that is kind of like an ongoing issue, I can probably. Number 5.
I feel like we actually have.
So, you previously did some surveying around self-certifications for assignments. What is happening now?
So there's been some work kind of going on in the background between us and the university. All we can say at the moment is kind of, you know, the communication is being built, it's, you know, it's kind of in the works. I think you summarised it quite well earlier.
Obviously, we're continuing to lobby for self-certification. That obviously this is something that students communicated to us that they want
You
to
need self-certification.
continue
Yes.
to have, and obviously
Yeah.
we go by the students, so it's something that I utilise a lot as a student, to be quite honest with you. I think we're in a bit of a dry spell at the moment, trying to just kind of figure out what is actually being put in place. So we're due to meet with the university quite shortly and kind of determine what the communication is going to be, and also kind of share like our thoughts on the final proposed plans. We understand to some extent, but it's also ensuring that we communicate like our satisfaction with, and also the student satisfaction on how it's been carried out essentially, because there's great opportunities for feedback, and also making sure that you as students are always consulted.
But we will always advocate for you to have self-certification because it's just such a, you know, I've seen in the feedback that I've gathered from you guys as students this year what a valuable resource it is. I mean, I didn't use it personally when I was a student, and so it's something that I've kind of learned kind of a lot more about this year. And so the feedback that I've been gathering from you guys is really, really, truly valuable, and I really appreciate everyone who's kind of contributed to that. But yes, we will communicate with you when kind of the water's correct.
Thank you very much for watching our Open Forum for semester 2. We hope you enjoyed it. We certainly
Yeah.
did. My favourite moment was Sal knocking down the tower.
So well.
But anyway, yeah, who would have thought? Thank you. So we have many ways to get in touch over email. Usually we have so many different emails. So
A more centralised one will probably be student.union@winchester.ac.uk, and then that'll be sent posted to the correct SAB or team.
same with the Instagram. We have Winch SU, which is our centralised one, but also as officers we have Winch Officers, which is the full executive committee, alongside Facebook. You name it.
But there. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.